Welcome to another Animator Tech tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to cover Maya user interface and workflow tips that'll help you work better within Maya and more efficiently. These are some things I've learned over the years, and some of them are not very well known. So I'll get to it. I'll start with the first one here. You notice the main Maya window here. Everything is default. So all the menu background here is the default Maya gray. The only thing that you might see different is my timeline here. It's a different color. And it's a little bit taller, but I nudged that up with the mouse. Just as an aside, anything you change in Maya relating to preferences and colors and all that, things like that, the moment you close Maya is the moment that Maya saves that preference in your Maya preferences folder. So as long as you like the change that you have in your current Maya scene, once you close it, the next time you open it, it will remember those preferences. So keep that in mind. Alright, on with the tutorial. So the first thing I'll show you is something that you will activate in the script editor, but I just want to put it front and center on the screen in a bigger font here so you can read what this mel script is. So this script deals with everything in this region of Maya. So all of the color around the fonts and around the icons and around the buttons. This is what defines this color. It's the main window. And the command is actually $gMainWindow. So in order to activate that, I just go down here and you click that, and that opens the script editor. Mine's on the other monitor, so I'll drag it over. So you have to be in a Mel tab. Now, when you start Maya, you may have a Mel tab or you may have a Python tab, but you can always add one. It's been a while since I've done this. Oh, sorry. I think it's right here. That's right. There's always a plus sign, and it asks you to open a Mel or Python tab. So that's how to do that. Anyway, back to this tab. I'll just show you what this does. So I'm selecting this to just initiate what's highlighted, and to do that I hit the enter key. That's the far right key, lower right key on your keyboard where the number pad is. Not return, but you hit enter. So once I hit enter, now you notice the color change. So everything's gone dark. That's what I like, but just for more clarity as to what the numbers mean. This is your red channel, this number is your green channel, and this number is your blue channel. The range is from 0 to 1. So if we want a different color, we could do that. We can go crazy. Or we can do that. Or we can try something a little more cool. But anyway, I like black, or close to it. So you got a whole range of options, of course. All the colors under the RGB spectrum is at your disposal for that. So that's a nice UI tip, number one. So the next thing I'll talk about is I'll show you a little bit about where to find the colors for other areas within Maya. So that's under Windows, Settings and Preferences, and you have color settings. Now, One thing that Autodesk does not have the option to change, and I hope if they are ever watching this tutorial, this is a request. Please allow us to change the color of the outliner here. You cannot change this background color for some reason, nor can you change this color over here. Because when you have objects in here, you have display layers, and you're stuck with that color. Same thing over in the outliner. So anyway, as I noted before, I had the timeline time slider changed for as a darker color. So let's see. I can actually, let me put this on the side here. You'll also notice that my graph editor is darker than normal, and that's because I changed the background color here, and you can see when I change it, it updates live right over there. So I like nice dark backgrounds. It's easier for my eyes, that's for sure. And of course, everything else here changes, live once you deselect from the slider. And the other part was the time. Sorry. I was going to show you where the there it is. So the time slider has the background available to change, and there you go. See how it's changing down here? So that's a big one too. And of course, you got the color that you have for your keys. So if I make an object and I hit S, there's a red key. I'll just go over here. So there's a red key, and of course I can change that, and there we go. There it changes there. And if you want anything different than what's there, you just click on the color swatch, and there you have your full range of colors that you can choose. So, so yeah, that's for the key main colors there. You can spend a long time changing all these colors, all these menu colors. These are different categories for active or inactive objects, and so yeah, you can have you could spend a long time figuring that out, what works for you. All right, so the next thing I'll show you, so if you have a 4K monitor and maybe your screen isn't very big, a lot of details are very, very small. And depending on how good your vision is, you may or may not be able to see certain thin lines. And that would apply for things like, anything that let's go with a circle here. So I'm just gonna make that bigger. So this line thickness here, I have a custom width here, but this is much thinner, especially if it was on a 4K monitor. You may have trouble seeing it. So one thing I will show you is, so that's the far right button here, just above the script editor button. So this opens up preferences. Alternatively, I believe you can get that in edit, or maybe it's file. It could be under here. There. That's the alternative place for it. So, okay, so the first thing I will show you is the curve width here. If you go under display, you will see here your line width, and you can make it as fat or as thin as you like. So if you like fat curves, then this is for you. Another helpful thing here. You noticed when I had the keyframe showing, maybe I changed my color by accident on the keyframe. Let me just make sure I didn't do that because I don't want to overwrite my my settings here. Time slider. Oh, sorry. Oh, interesting. I thought I had keys on here. Oh, they're there. Sorry. My mistake. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show you is oh, I see. That's right, because I made a NURBS cube instead of a polygon. Okay, so that's why. That explains that. So there's a key on here. I just want to show you for changing the width of the key ticks here in the time slider is it's under here. So you'll see here key tick size. So that's how it looks as a 2 times or 1 time, and then 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and then 5 times. So that will it's whatever you prefer. Just set that, and once you close Maya, those settings will be remembered, so you don't have to reset this up every time. And let's see. Okay, so let me just clear these other objects just so I don't. Okay, so let me show you one thing about when you're animating certain. Let's say I'm going to hit period to jump 2 keys. That's another quick note. Just going to rotate that just so we have something here to show. Now, let's say over here I have another axis keyframe here. So now I have a keyframe in a different part, a different time than the Y rotate is keyed at a different time than the Z rotate. So what helps in terms of the outliner? You notice how the outliner is changing live. When I click Y, it's only showing Y. When I click rotate Z, it's only showing the rotate Z channel. And if I control left click, it goes back to showing everything because I have nothing selected here. But the moment I select something, it updates. To do that, you right click and sync both of these because you want your graph editor to update and you want your time slider to update. So that's one thing I neglected to mention. Watch the time slider down here. So when I select this, it should, let me just make sure. Oh, sorry. If I didn't have a key there, when I hit S and you don't have anything highlighted here, it keys everything here. But if I just had X rotate highlighted and I key here, there's the key on the X rotate. But if I go to the Y channel, there's no key here. Nothing here. It's only in the original spot that I put the Y key. So notice the time slider here, this section, these 2 keys, now they'll disappear the moment I hit rotate. Z. That's because what is showing here is also showing here. Now you may not want that. You may just want the graph editor to update only and not the time slider. So that's when you would uncheck that. And now you have all of your keys on all channels here and only what you select here in the graph editor. So it's up to you how you want to do that. I always have these on. It helps me when I have keys on different channels for specific reasons. Of course, that's an animation choice. So that's a good tip for animating. And let's see. Oh yes. And here's I'm going to hit spacebar there to full screen this. Now in my 2022, I believe onward, you now have keyboard shortcuts for showing certain types of objects in your scene. So when I hit Alt-1, the curves disappear. I can just toggle it back on. And Alt-2 is polygon objects. And 3, you can get a reference here of what 3 is. Oh, actually, it's not set. 3 is not set here, but I believe it's set somewhere else. Yes. Okay. So these can all be changed. Of course, you don't, you can leave them as is or not. But let me just add a polygon object. Okay, so you won't see anything right now because I have polygons turned off. Alt-2, there you go. And so this is a NURBS surface. That's why that's still visible. So this is pretty handy to easily turn off and on certain elements in your viewport. And just a reminder, hitting spacebar toggles you in and out of independent windows wherever your mouse is highlighted over. Let's see, one last thing maybe. I sort of indirectly showed it to you. Notice how the when you hit spacebar, it's popping up a whole bunch of options. That's I believe it's called your Hotbox shortcut options. If you hold spacebar, you basically have whatever is in these menus are actually accessible. They're also accessible in your buttons here, but also in menus up here. But since I was just I know how to find certain things very quickly, you can easily just hold spacebar and then just find what you want. Maybe a locator, and that makes it easy for you to find stuff rather than menu surfing up here. I mean, certain things in the buttons are handy too because there are many button shelves. So I personally haven't gotten accustomed to using them, but it's just a habit thing. It's whatever you're comfortable with. There's the circle create button there, which is kind of handy. Anyway, I think maybe I'll just end it there for user interface and workflow tips. This will kind of get you started to seeing how you can use these to your advantage to make your workflow just a little bit faster. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you next time on the next tutorial.